Okay, this story is complicated, so bear with me. The most important new thing is that Ubisoft is going to hold an E3 style showcase, quote unquote, called Ubisoft Forward in July, specifically July 12th. And this, of course, is announced after their notable involvement in the Microsoft live stream that I was whining about considerably yesterday. But here's the there's too many of these events, man. There's too much going on. It was exciting at first, and I even talked about it when I started this channel up, last month, I guess. When IGN was doing their thing, when they were the first to make their announcement, naturally, they're very well organized. They come in there and they're like, "Hey, in the space where E3 was happening, we're going to do our own E3 thing." And that was cool. E3 obviously canceled. There's this big vacuum. There's nothing going on. I'm speaking now as if it was a month or so ago in the past. And so IGN shows up and says, we're going to do our thing. Now, to my knowledge, the ESA has not said what their plans are for this week. You remember they set dates for 2021. They told us when it's happening. Okay, great. But other than vaguely just saying, hey, we're going to do a digital event of some kind in 2020, we're going to do it. So like I said, there's the vacuum, all the stuff. IGN steps in right away. Awesome. And then there were, Microsoft doing their thing, all this stuff. And there was this, hey, we're going to have digital events. GDC went digital. We had a few of those talks live streamed. Those were great. We had Microsoft's Game Stack happening at the same time. Live stream developer talks. That was great. Sony did their thing with Mark Cerny. Everyone was complaining about that, but that was stupid because that was a perfectly fine talk. That's the kind of thing they usually do at things like GDC. That was fine. It was off to a good start. It was all looking so promising. But then it changed. Let's go through this calendar now. Let's just get you up to speed with all these events. And a lot of them don't have specific dates associated with them. And we're getting close to the wire here. So I've given the dates that I can. So first off, supposedly scheduled from May through August, although it's May now, we've got Jeff Keighley's Summer Games Fest, a 4-month-long global festival of everything games. Awesome. Sounds great. So here's who he has supposedly involved with this. He's got 2K, Activision, Bandai Namco, Bethesda, Blizzard, Bungie, CD Projekt Red, Digital Extremes, Electronic Arts, Microsoft, Sony, Square Enix, Private Division, Riot Games, Steam, and Warner Brothers Interactive Entertainment. They're confirmed to be part of Jeff Keighley's summer whatever. We got the two, Sony and Microsoft, the two explosive consoles this year. Notable exception is Nintendo, but of course they're not involved. Nintendo doesn't want to do this kind of thing. They don't want to be on the same stage as Sony and Microsoft, obviously, even if it's a virtual stage, because this isn't the year for that, and maybe that'll never be a year for that ever again. And, leave it to Keighley to have all the heavy hitters. Good on ya. May through August. I'm excited. I can't wait until May for this event to start. Ooh, awesome. May through August, Jeff Keighley's Summer Games Fest. Then, in early June, we've got the IGN Summer of Gaming. Let's have a bit of a reminder about what that is. So as far as I can tell, IGN has not actually given a specific date other than early June. Okay, awesome. Unlike Jeff Keighley, they have a little bit of time. It's not quite early June yet. Okay, awesome. Their summer, this is the first one that was announced. Jeff Keighley kind of preempted them in there, but great. First one that was announced, first on the block. Let's remember who they have involved. So, IGN, Summer of Gaming, supposedly is going to have Square Enix, Sega, Bandai Namco, Amazon, Google, Twitter, Devolver Digital, and THQ Nordic. And that was in the initial announcement. And then in a series of updates afterwards, they also announced that CD Projekt Red was going to be involved, EA was going to be involved, Xbox, Microsoft, and Blizzard and Ubisoft. And more. They talk, apparently, I'm seeing now, Bloober Team, Artificial Core, Fabraz, and Cold Symmetry with publisher Playstack. Okay, and that's part of the Guerrilla Collective Showcase on June 6th and 8th. Okay, we'll get to that in a second. Like I said, this is really hard. This is hard to keep track of, okay? But then GameSpot announced their event, also in early June. So GameSpot is having their own E3 alternative, which is also a charity event, raising money for direct relief. And their event is called Play for All. By the way, can I just say, this is all these people, these companies hosting these stupid events. We're really getting a chance to see, we're stretching the limits of corporate game conference names, aren't we? Play for All, Play Forward, Summer Games Fest. It's all the same kind of nouns that are used in all these things, right? I'm just noticing that. Anyway, GameSpot's Play for All. It's happening in early June. Again, no specifics as far as I can tell. Maybe they announced it in some weird page. Okay, so who's involved with the Play for All event? 2K Games, CD Projekt Red, Deep Silver, okay, Amazon Games, Bethesda, Devolver Digital, Google Stadia, Larian Studios, that I'm not familiar with, Mythical Games, Bandai Namco, Perfect World Entertainment, Sega, and Square Enix. Well, that's just great. And apparently, Greg Miller from Kinda Funny and Danny O'Dwyer from NoClip will also be involved. Unsurprising on Danny's part, kinda surprising on Greg Miller's part, because of something that I'm about to get to. But again, there's a lot of information, it's hard to keep track. So let's remember that we're at early June, and so far we've got the Summer Games Fest, we've got Summer of Gaming, and we've got Play for All. June 6th, okay, we're moving past early June, and now we're into actual dates. June 6th, we have the Media Indie Exchange. So this is specifically, I think it's funny that IGN made their like E3 replacement, and then Kinda Funny, all the people that left IGN are like, oh, we'll do that too. We'll have an indie games showcase. That's just funny to me that like IGN made their announcement and then Kinda Funny comes. It's funny. So the Media Indie Exchange, okay, sorry, I'm wrong. I thought it was called the Media Indie Exchange, but apparently there's an organization called the Media Indie Exchange, and they're partnering with Kinda Funny to make this event that's unnamed. So, yeah, okay, so whatever. This unknown event happening in June is hosted by Greg Miller, and it's part of this, or it's collaborating with the Guerrilla Collective Live. The second time we've brought that up. Guerrilla Collective. I'm having a hard time finding out information about what the heck the Guerrilla Collective is, but it's something. It's all these publishers. It's this indie thing, and the companies that are involved in Greg's event, it's a totally different set of companies, separate from that big list. So I won't go into it because it's a bunch of indies. Great, like you see Raw Fury's in there, Paradox is in there. Somewhat high-level, large-scale, triple-I indies nonetheless. And that's not really part of that's a separate thing. That's a separate thing from my main point. Then, June 11th, EA Play Live. Now, of course, EA's been doing EA Play for a few years now. They do it kind of adjacent to E3, right? E3 is happening, and then EA Play is happening nearby because EA, much like with Origin, they like to do their own things. They like to have their own games and their own thing. Why go to E3? We can have our own event. Why do this when we can do this? That's what they do. Okay, so June 11th, we've got EA Play Live, and EA is involved with that. Great. Whatever. It's not a big list of big companies. It's just EA. But EA's got a couple things going on. Now, finally, we're done with June, and we merely have 5 events that are happening all in this space of June. All in, when E3 would have been happening. Great. Now we're at July, and we've got just a few things. We've got the Xbox Game Studios Showcase. So this is going to be the sequel to that terrible live stream that just happened, where it's going to be all the actual Microsoft Studios games. Halo, Fable, stuff like... Well, we don't know if Fable's going to be there. I'm hoping Fable will be there. Forza, maybe Gears, some... I don't know at the top. Oh, and actually all those companies that Microsoft bought... I guess they're part of Microsoft Studios or whatever. So there's all them, whatever. It's like the live stream that we just saw, hopefully a bit better, hopefully a bit more gameplay, and all of the Microsoft stuff, the exclusive stuff. Then July 12th, that's when we get to Ubisoft Forward, Ubisoft's dedicated event. Well, they'll be talking about the Ubisoft games. Cool. Whatever. And hopefully by then they'll have figured out how to make gameplay footage. And then in August, finally we come to August, we have GDC happening. The thing that happened in March, that was just whatever, because originally they actually sort of moved GDC. They were like, oh, we're going to reschedule it to August, and we're going to do this. That live stream thing that they did was just like a temporary thing, and they were going to do GDC for real, and then clearly that's not going to happen. So they're like, okay, we're doing a digital event again, just like the one that we did in March. Okay, whatever. GDC. And of course, August, we reach the end of the Summer Games Fest by Jeff Keighley. Good for EA. Good for Ubisoft. Good for all these guys. But this is a nightmare. I think we're starting to see... I'm starting to miss E3. Like, it's been this kind of useless, stupid event for a long time. We've all been wondering, like, what's the point of E3? Why does E3 even need to exist in a world where these people can do their own events? But they don't do their own events. They just all do what we get when there's a million events to choose from, is that all these publishers just go to all of them. And in some cases, they go to all of them in addition to just doing their own large event. It's too many events. It's too many events. I know I've said that. It's too many events. Okay. I guess there's an argument to be made that it's like, oh, it's fun for us to be at home. Like, we can just tune in on Twitch or whatever. So it's not like we're really going. But even so, it's too annoying. I miss having just the one, like, E3 is special. I'm preaching to the converted here. Yeah, it's a special thing. We have all the press conferences. Ooh, we get up and we watch them and we see the stuff, and then we talk all about the exciting things that we saw. We're chatting. This is going to be months and months of this. I can't handle it, man. I can't handle it. Anyway, the main news story of this episode was the Ubisoft thing. So, okay, Ubisoft's having their event in addition to the million other ones that are happening. Hopefully between now and Ubisoft Forward, July 12th, maybe on July 12th, that'll be, we finally get to see some gameplay from them or whatever. I'm not just trying to rag on them, but Ubisoft does not have me in a good mood right now. See you tomorrow.